Hey guys, welcome back to another quick video here on the Fellow KGB channel. My name is Kyle. We're going to be going over the waiver wire watch list for week 16. It's going to be a quicker video tonight. I got to get to the Brewer game tonight. So we're going to kind of just do the 30-player watch list real quick. I also want to show you guys who I have been personally picking up. Before we get into that, we're just going to look at the schedule for the rest of the season right now. And looking at week 16, there's really no outliers. There's a handful of teams with 4 games. So if you're looking to steal some extra games, I would recommend Dallas, Memphis, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Toronto, just all these teams that you see here on this list. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. But definitely look into some of these teams that have it. If you're looking ahead, I mean, we don't really have any 5s until week 18, so we'll get to that later. But any team with 4 games right now is probably a good pickup. And then just for players that I picked up personally for this week, I picked up Mo Bamba, who's been getting more minutes and more points. He's about 13.3% owned. Mo Bamba, I believe, how many games did Orlando's got 4 games this week, so I like that. And just looking at what he's done the last 3 games here, he's been on over 20 minutes per game. His points are up, rebounds are actually kind of down, so there's more room for him to grow. So we like Mo Bamba quite a bit. Again, 4 games this week. And then I did pick up Dorian Finney-Smith, who's about 15.5% owned. He's averaging almost 22 points per game on the season. But his last 4 or 5 games have been really, really solid, basically over 24, 25 points. So again, he plays a ton of minutes for a really good team in the Mavericks. And I just expect him to have a high floor. If he doesn't score a lot of points, he'll kind of fill out the rest of the box score. So I do like Dorian Finney-Smith quite a bit. And the last personal guy here is Reggie Jackson, now with Patrick Beverley out until it sounds like May with the hand injury, and the Rajon Rondo's got a hip injury who might be kind of in and out. It looks like Reggie Jackson's going to be the premier point guard for minutes, I guess, the rest of April here. So this is more of a long-term play. He has been playing pretty well. 3 of his last 4 games have been pretty solid here. So Reggie Jackson, we got Mo Bamba, and we got Dorian Finney-Smith. Let me just click on my other team real quick and just see if there's anybody else that I maybe added over the weekend here, just looking ahead to next week. There's Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Jackson as well. So those are the main guys that I personally liked. And then just looking at the watch list here, I have 4 guys here who are about 60% owned on this list. That's Miles Bridges, Kevin Porter Jr., Dante DiVincenzo, and Ricky Rubio. All of these guys are averaging almost 30 points a game. I guess Miles Bridges about 34 in the last 7 days. Kevin Porter Jr. is averaging about 28, Dante about 29, and Rubio about 32. So all these guys are really solid players. If you're in an 8 or 10-man league, those guys, I mean, they should be aggressively picked up. So I like them all quite a bit. And then I want to get to some of the guys here. I have about 6 guys here that are roughly 50 to 60% owned. That's TJ McConnell, Terrence Ross, Jakob Poeltl, Kevin Love, Josh Richardson, and Gary Trent Jr. The one that I kind of like the most has been Gary Trent Jr. You look at he had a 44-point game for Toronto the other night, 60 fantasy points. Not sure what happened. I don't like this. A 39-minute game and only 4 fantasy points. So it's kind of like it's a very boom-bust situation for Gary Trent. But if he can continue to score at a high clip, I think he should be a player worth monitoring down the stretch here. So I like him. Josh Richardson, pretty safe and steady. He's been playing pretty well. Just looking at his last few games here, the minutes are, a little bit over 30 and a decently high floor. He just can't be having these real 1-point games. So he's, again, the Mavericks, man, they have good depth, and these guys play a lot of minutes here. Kevin Love would be the other guy here he's getting steady. It took him a little while. His minutes still haven't really been let loose. He had 31 minutes the other night here, 19 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. So if you're playing in 8 or 10-man leagues, I think these guys would be the ones that we're looking at, anybody above 50% owned. So if you have questions about who I like more, you guys can hit me up in the comments below. But I do like, Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing really well. Miles Bridges, he had the nasty dunk the other night here, against Capella. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was pretty sick here. So Charlotte Hornets, man, they're the 5th seed or the 6th seed right now in the East. They're playing well. So now I want to look at some guys that are playing under 50% ownership that should be looked at. That's Dylan Brooks, Derek White, Will Barton, Kevin Huerter. You got a run of 1 to 3 guards here. So if you need a guard, these guys are kind of fun here. It looks like Derek White's been averaging the most over the last 7 days here, and he's been getting ample minutes here too. So if you're in the market for a 2 or a 3, you can get Dylan Brooks, Derek White, Will Barton, or Kevin Huerter. Herder's probably the weakest of that group here. I would recommend Will Barton, good veteran, or Derek White, who's been getting some good minutes with San Antonio. And I guess we'll group Bobby Portis into that. If you're looking for a 4 or a 5 power forward or center, I would look towards Bobby Portis, who's been playing really well. Milwaukee's been banged up the last week or so with Giannis and a bunch of other key starters missing time, and he's on a 4 straight double streak here. So he's playing really well. He's only 40% owned, and he's like the first guy off the bench for them usually to get Lopez out of there. So I like Bobby Portis quite a bit. He should be a long-term hold in 12-man leagues. And now we got a couple shooting guards and a guard, Kendrick Nunn, Cole Anthony. I like Cole Anthony for the rest of the season. It's taken him a little while to kind of get back into the swing of things. But 23, 28, and 32 fantasy points, like these are kind of his floors the rest of the way. So 12-man leagues, he's only 22% owned, guys. So we got to get Cole Anthony's ownership up. He's going to continue to get a ton of minutes and a ton of opportunity. Orlando's just got nothing to play for. So we like Cole Anthony quite a bit. He's probably my favorite player on this list below 25%. Nerlens Noel has been pretty steady. He still has to battle for minutes with Taj Gibson. So every now and then, I think we're beyond these 10-point games, but 18, 19 should be his floor. He can kind of go off with the blocks and the rebounds coming. You see here for almost 42 points. So I do like Noel if you need a center. If I need a center, I might prefer Cody Zeller. Bobby Portis too. Like he's one of those centers that gets a lot of points here, but Cody Zeller is kind of ramping back up to where he was like in February with his points. You see a couple mid 30-point games here. This floor is relatively high, but his minutes weren't very high. 16 minutes against Atlanta and 13 against Boston. So if he gets minutes, he's going to be a pretty useful player for 12-man leagues. Malachi Flynn, I think I'm done with Malachi Flynn. Kyle Lowry is back. You see the minutes kind of, he decreased his minutes by about 10 to 12 minutes than the stretch that he was on. 6 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 1 block. So he's still very productive. But I think with Lowry and Van Vliet coming back, we're going to see Malachi Flynn kind of get back into the bench role for fantasy. Sadiq Bey had a couple nice games lately here. He's getting consistent. You see 25 real points, 12, 14, and 25. So he's starting to get some steady points here. He just needs to get kind of more consistent with all the other numbers here. But I like the floors. The last 4 games here, his worst game has been 22.5 points. So I like Sadiq Bey. And then there's Mo Bamba. Of course, I've talked about Mo Bamba being one of my favorite players on the list. He's on one of my teams. I think he's going to continue to get more run for Orlando. Again, young team, nothing much to play for. They're going to play these younger guys. You've got Jalen McDaniels here, who's been getting mad minutes here, 29, 31, and 32 minutes. Pretty good scorer, and he's also going to check almost every column in the box score here. So 39, 41, and 21 and 3/4 fantasy points here. 3 consecutive starts here. I really like this. This is something to monitor. They've been kind of dinged up with a lot of other injuries here. It looks like Gordon Hayward, LaMelo Ball both expected to miss a couple more weeks. PJ Washington and Malik Monk are also banged up. So Jalen McDaniels, he needs to be, I think he's a hold for at least 2 weeks while Hayward and LaMelo Ball are still out. KCP, Talon Horton-Tucker, if you guys need some Lakers. I like Talon Horton-Tucker. He's actually been playing really well for them. Double-double the last time we saw him, 14 and 11 assists. 4 straight games over 28 points. He missed the game against Miami, but he's on the up. So we just got to avoid these minus and these 5-pointers. So if you're looking for something a little more risky, I like Talon Horton-Tucker. And KCP, he's been playing a lot of good minutes here. He still seems like a guy that he's getting so many minutes and it doesn't always equal fantasy points here. So I'm a little bit more excited about Talon Horton-Tucker. Corey Joseph continues to be consistent for Detroit. Massive game the other night here, 18 points and 13 assists for 48 points. So 2 of his last 3, he's been over 40. So this is something I think we got to take note, only 11% owned. I'll throw in Torian Prince. Isaiah Hartenstein, he's beginning to be super consistent. I think we got to take note. Now, his minutes are still kind of figuring themselves out. I would expect him to hit in that 20 to 25 minutes per game range. I think his floor is, this 16 points that we see here. But if he starts filling out the columns and getting, more than 25 minutes per game, you're going to see some of these 30s and maybe a 40 every now and then. So again, Cavaliers, just like the Magic, young team, they're going to continue to figure out what's on this team with their young guys. Tony Bradley stepped up and played really well the other night. He might hurt our favorite Moses Brown here with minutes because he puts up a 16 and 14 double-double, 42 fantasy points, under 4% owned. This is something, especially if you need centers, you need blocks and rebounds. This is a guy that's going to continue to get a lot more look he was traded from the Philadelphia 76ers, and he's actually been a pretty solid floor here. And if he starts getting more than 25 minutes per game, Tony Bradley could help us get through to the playoffs. And then I just threw Dean Wade on here. He's had 3 pretty solid games. His minutes have been fantastic, over 30 minutes, basically in like the last 8 games or so. But it still feels a little hard to trust. I don't know with some of the injuries and players coming back, but I don't know. Double doubles. He still hasn't gotten a double double yet, but he feels kind of everything on the column here. So I like Dean Wade. But that's going to do it for this quick video. I tried to keep it under 10 minutes. I think we got really close. But if you guys got questions, hit me up in the comments. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. We'll be going live tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So come hang out, ask some questions, and we'll get you some answers. So have a good one. We'll see you guys in another video. Thanks.